There you go. We are live.
We're
It says
live.
so for it. Hello, everybody. Thank you. We got a little bit late from within. Thank you for coming in and watching it. I'm here with Petya and Andre. You guys know some of you. You guys are within their group, within a Facebook. You've been seeing the videos that I've been doing and sharing within them. I know them for about 3, 4 years, maybe more.
Something
She
like this.
can tell better.
Something like that. But we're
We are
gonna be
lost in
coming in
time.
here to talk to you about twin flames in connections. We are talking about twin flames that get us together and getting together. We're sharing the journey, we're sharing the situations. We had a great talks, and we have all the time great talks. We actually continue our talks and continues our sharing of informations, and it's beautiful when we are connecting to all from with these connections to be with people who get you, understands you. You exchange the energies, and so on and so on. We shared a lot of good informations about between us about the journey. We sharing a journey. What is the story? What is the things from within? And yeah, we are gonna be sharing some with you guys, and later on you guys can have like a questions and answer of situations. So I want to give you a Petya and Andre. They're right here. Some of you guys know it, so let them share some of the talks that we have and how beautiful it is to be people within. Hi, Nuri.
Thank you
And
guys for being here. Well, me and Petya, we we have a lot that we went through, and it's been an amazing journey. And then we also started communicating here with Dio. It's been a long time that we exchanged some experiences, but we never truly like met each other. That was very cool that we finally came out from the cave,
we
so to
finally
speak.
came out of the cave to meet each other, and it's been very cool because the energies of the talks is beautiful between us. We are kind of like going with the flow.
It,
There is no
yes,
and a lot of good discussions. Ray, thank you for coming in.
it's more like the energies are almost like dictating what is going to happen next, and that's just how it is. Right now, it's feels good. Yeah. So we came up with something very interesting. I mean, interesting at the moment, because it's always like this, always on the moment, that twin flames are connected, meaning that, me and Petya, André and Petya, we have our own issues. We are not here just like Dio. He's not here like the all-knowing God. He doesn't know everything. I don't know everything, but that's why we met each other as well, to exchange. And we realized that we are not really being able to help him, neither he being able to help us, because we
Have similar
we have
issues.
similar issues. So he doesn't know what to do because he doesn't know for himself, and vice versa. So yeah,
But it
it's
was very good discussions, and Petya helped us a lot within this. So I'm gonna have Petya just share some things on it.
We help each other, all of us.
yes, we do that, but
And it's absolutely amazing that, we also have a group on the Facebook that we purposely named Twin Flames in Divine Union, because that was really the meaning of all this, to unite not just people with their own twin flame, but also twin flames from all over the world together. Dio also has two groups, at least, on this cause as well, and it's it's almost like unbelievable, magical, and superficial when you meet someone else on the same journey, and not just on the same journey, but really vibrating together, on the same realm of thought, logic, and perception.
It's so amazing. The theory behind just meeting someone with the same problems is just a theory. When you see the person and you get the same problems, it's another level of, I don't know, it's incredible. Yeah.
It's good that we are all in this because we were laughing on it. And
Very
our
much.
understanding.
In the
What?
soup.
In this soup.
Yes, we're all in the soup. Okay, if that's what you go into it to this turmoil, that we are going through these changes that right now, these evolutions, and how we getting the similar energy, similar situations. We were last night. We were talking with Petya, and I was like, "You see the energies like a few days before," and she's like, "Yeah, I know. That's how it is." For and we had a great communications, and we came into you guys today to share how beautiful is when you meet the family. Okay, we feel like a family. We feel like, I mean, even the cat and the dogs. They just we all kind of like as an energy. We all came
Yeah,
together.
it's very cool.
For even the Nuri also helps out within this, but it was about the journey that we came to this journey to get out there to helping people. They're very good of making the videos. I mean, I'm sharing some of my some of their videos out into the groups out of my Facebook. For however, they also do that for and. But it is the corporations and the corporations. And what we found with all three of us, it was the compassion to help you guys in the journey. Our own compassion, our own drive, our own personality that is so stubborn to keep and going despite the situations. And I'm so happy to finally we met together because we were talking about on
Yes.
Facebook and
For a few
we
years.
had a few video conference and so on. But it was a time to we can get together and we want to give you this beautiful
Connect
energy.
further.
Connect
Yes,
further.
and connecting further.
The more we understand it, the more we can share between each other, and then from between each other to whoever listens and wants to apply to their life as an example. Because you know, it's a very deep. It's impossible to describe in words because you have to go through the experience, and even if you go through a similar experience, it's not the same. But then, the love is just beautiful. Sorry if I use some Portuguese words in my language. Yes.
We speak a mixture of several languages at home.
Together, yes. It's fun. So yeah,
We've been, how many, 6 years together now?
I think it's ready to be 6 years.
6 years, but 8 years since we found each other. And
8 years since, basically 8 years since we met. I mean, not
Yes.
personally, but
virtually.
virtually, and then 2 years after, 6 years now that we are together. Through many trials and error, and it continues because this is not a thing that gets fixed like this. It takes time. It's sometimes it's the most frustrating thing. Other times, most of the times, 70% of the times, or even more, it's really the most beautiful thing you cannot find anywhere else. Anywhere else, it's impossible. No flower can describe, no person can tell you how it is, and it's just beautiful. And this is what keeps us from continuing because it's so much better than anything else. We just know that as soon as we are empty, because if we distance ourselves, we are empty again in our heart, and it feels just terrible. It's the worst thing ever, you know? Yeah.
We had a very good discussions about and
Very good.
what I learned from their journey. For if you guys haven't understand their journey, go ahead and look at it. Watch their channel. There, it's beautiful. There is a lot of information.
You probably will have to tell them, yeah.
And you can go ahead and look at it within their journey. But what is amazing me, today we had lunch, dinner together, something in between. For, but it is what it is. We are going with divine time, okay, guys?
There's no plan.
There was no
Yeah,
plans.
it
There
was
was
very
no
cool.
nothing.
This is the
We
best.
just allowed the beautiful energies within us. We all cooperated. It was not like this person hurry up, that person is waiting. We have to wait for somebody, but it's something else. No,
It
it was
was
all peaceful. Whatever happens, when it's supposed to happen, how it's supposed to happen. That was a very good learning of
no
this.
expectation.
No expectations for this kind of like inter relationships that we have as a twin
It's
flame.
almost like telepathy without telepathy. It was just amazing.
Yeah, but it was just amazing. But what amazed me today, it is about like their choice of winning the love within. I was so blown up for it, of their journey, that it doesn't matter what the situation was, doesn't matter what their obstacles is, doesn't matter what kind of interference or whatever it was. It what amazed me is they stood up to the one thing they believed, that was the love from within them, with their connection, with the love for each other,
That's
and the
true.
appreciation for each
Yes,
other.
he
And
sing from the outside, so it's different.
I seen this, and I see one more thing though. They says like this. You know what, Dio? What is the secret for us? I'm like, what is it? We admitted to each other that we still have an ego from within us, but we also have a collective ego from within us, and we are in peace within this. And that's right there.
Yeah.
Gives you everything. I'm so happy and
The
glad
truth.
to have them both.
We're happy too.
We are
It's
very
so
happy
good
too.
to have you and Nuri, but he cannot.
Yeah. Nuri
Be
had some
present
little
now,
issues for it, but yeah.
It's really, really great. We're very grateful.
The sunlight is disappearing, so we were thinking if you guys, want to ask anything, we can answer.
Go ahead and have some questions for us, guys, and oh not, your connections is out.
How do you find out if it's still?
No, it stays there. I don't know.
So it's all good. So maybe it's their connection.
Maybe Crystal, take a look at your connection if it's out.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Let
any
me
problems
just
with the
double
connection?
check.
Yeah, we can see on the live itself.
Here is
Yeah,
good. I
My
connection
think.
connection
is
is back. Okay. Hey, thanks, Avi. Thank you guys for
Great.
coming
Thank
in.
you, guys.
Thank you.
And write it down, the questions right now. And for, hey, Giuliano, thank you for coming in. For you're black. Okay, it's back on. Okay. So there was probably something with.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Some-
even dropped some people, which
Because
means
we are
the
in the
connection.
village here, and
Yes.
sometimes we just have a electricity shortage, which is central, and it makes the connection.
We are in the middle of nowhere,
Yes, we really are.
but that's the only way to heal, right?
We almost have no telephone connection here, like reception.
So we were saying that the sunlight is disappearing. So if you guys have any questions or something,
There is a questions for you guys. It comes in from Inner Love Goddess, and she asks you, have you ever been in a separation, and if so, how long?
That is the ultimate question that everybody wants to know about us.
I understand, and this happened like almost like a partial separation, because we cannot really say it is like this. We had multiple attempts to separate, but only one stood out, and it's not even a true separation of just distancing ourselves with anger or anything. It was just I needed my time, and she understood that. It was all my decision. I really wanted to travel by myself to see how I feel, just to see. Maybe something within me was telling me, look, if this is truthful, then let's see how I feel alone. If I feel better, then why do I have to stay with Petya, my true love here? Now I know the answer, of course. It was just 1 month, and then she was crying on the other side. I said, just come back here and finish the story.
You also felt very bad.
I felt horrible. I just didn't share very much, but I felt.
Yeah.
I truly believe that the secret in this is that we have been brave all these times, because we had several times very hard moments, very hard. You guys know how is when the energies hit, it affects everybody, trust me. And what has kept us together is being brave. Being brave to face our fears. Because if you're not brave enough to face your fears, there's nothing you can fulfill in life to the end. You will just be starting and getting stuck all the time, and then
Yes, that's what we did as well,
comes
because
back as a big slap.
if one of my fears, for example, if one of my fears was, let's say, is this what I really want? Because you travel all over the world, I didn't that much, so I felt like I want the same thing. So I had to face my fear, basically. That's what I did. I just put it in
Yes.
simple terms, and that's it.
The next question comes from Ray of Light. Ray, thank you. Ray Skywalker. May the force be with us. When did you first know you were twins, and what were the signs?
It was a year later after we got physically together, approximately. I found out. I just came upon something. I don't remember if it was a video or an article or something, and the moment I saw it, I just knew with all my heart that this is us. That's what we are. And then I did a little research. There was not much at the time about twin flames. Almost
Yeah, there was almost
zero.
nothing. Yeah.
Yes. And we really felt that this is us.
This is us.
We were having all the like symptoms that was described, everything. Then I even found later on some spiritual information. I am from Bulgaria, as you, and we have deep spirituality here from ancient times. And I found out that in some of it, it talks about twin flames, and that's like knowledge from thousands of years ago.
Yeah, without label, they just didn't label twin flames, but it's they have been speaking.
There is almost a label,
It's
but it
almost-
sounds different. But it is exactly the same thing.
And not only this, but yes, we found out after 1 year we were together, we were twin flames, but our the signs, because you said about signs, what were the signs? They have been strengthening themselves. They got strength as we got together, because there's many experiences we went through that are out of this world, and only this can tell.
I'm talking about the Tangrism. If you are interested, you can go. There's some small information online about it. And
Tell me again, Tangrism.
because
Tangrism, and some of them they call it Tangrism,
yeah,
which is in English more pronunciation. That is the old Proto-Bulgarians spirituality that was actually today exists in some of the places at Kafkas region, which
Yes,
is the
it
Proto-Bulgarians, but it's known as a neo-paganism in the modern
interesting.
time, where there is no God, but
There is.
whole power. It is about they using God as a universe. That's how they represent.
Yes, but that's where the name comes, because the god, they have the name for God, which is Tangra.
Tangra, yes.
Yes, it's very interesting, and it was amazing and blowing away, literally, to find out
That before they
that
were.
in such ancient knowledge they actually speak about twin flames.
I'm also blown away.
Yeah,
crazy.
it even is spoken about how the Lord Astral is chasing the twin flames, and why. There's all the reasons there written.
Oh,
and
the
stuff
lower
like this.
astrals, yes. The lower astrals can affect a lot of the twin flames, and that is about to test the strength within the twin flames. You guys win that stress, and
Well,
I see
I
that you
think-
guys are going through it.
I
and
think it's more about like to keep the balance between the lower astral and,
'Cause
and
it-
here
The higher
and
self.
the higher
totally
self.
against is not good, and totally
Totally,
giving the
no,
soul
no,
to it is
yeah,
also
Yes,
not
it's
good.
also
So
not
for
good.
people who have no clue what lower astral is, we speak more about this in
We
our
have
channel.
a ton.
We have a lot of to say
Maybe you
about
will
it.
even get fed up from it.
Hi, Melton. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, everyone.
So, Giuliano asked about, can I ask something, Dio? How about my story? So I want to ask if you just want to ask you if all twin flames have to be together, or some of these twin flames teach you a lesson and leave.
I believe that it is a choice of the twin flames because the twin flames journey has a much higher purpose. And sometimes the twin flame journey is not about specifically us, but it's about the world and where we fit in and what we are here to do about the world. And because of this, sometimes it is just needed, the twin flames not to be together. And this is where literally, you know, we have dropped the thought of being together before we got together. And I truly believe this is the secret of manifesting anything, absolutely anything. You just have to drop it. I have a thing that I like to say, it's like create and let go. Create the thought, but just let it go
Just let it go.
afterwards. Let it be light.
I can explain this further about the letting go. In the Taoism, which is a practice in Asia, a belief, anything like this, where the Tao is the energy, basically, the more you persist, the more this thing that you want, whatever it is, it will resist. So basically, it will just backfire on you, and it's horrible. And if you're doing this on the twin flame thing, it's even worse because flame, you know, is fire to backfire even more.
Yes, it's
So,
absolutely true with
yeah.
anything in this world.
So just have to, you create something and you let go, and everything's gonna take care of the rest. Because guess what? You are basically giving your faith to the energy, because there is energy all around us. So if you trust the energy, everything's gonna be okay. Don't worry. But you have to trust it all the way.
That's the universe.
Yeah.
Yes, Bamboo, they are twin flames. Yes.
Bamboo Taiko.
Okay, Tycoon. All right, so hopefully, Giuliano, you get this answer to your question. For it, I believe that Petya does it very well. The next question is coming from Crystal. Crystal Twin Star Enterprises. My divine masculine is hesitant to embrace his experience. If he knew how to welcome, he will be the community of the true twin flame. I feel he will be more apt to embrace our connection. Okay, that embracing of the connection is that's what amazed me when I spoke with them. What amazed me about them is they embraced the connection, they understood the connection, and they stand up everything against what the connections were trying to separate them. They stand against family, they stand against relatives, they stand against all material situations. They had to create things from ground up. And that's what the twin flame says. Twin flames is to destroy what it's not serving purpose
Exactly.
anymore, to believe within the love,
That's why it's
to be
flame.
trust in that love, to grab the love from within as an energy, and that's what it is. Let go of everything that doesn't serve, as Petya said, and create. And that's what they did. They created. Okay, that is what about this personal example giving you as the age of Aquarius. It is about to let go of the old and creating the new, and that's what I'm
Create something new.
so happy to be with in.
Create something new, but not the new age, new age philosophy.
Yes.
I have also a little bit of like
Point.
might be a different perception of this. This is the same, but still
To give a different
yes,
perspective. Okay.
because for example now we are getting the house from my grandparents, and we are trying to transform it. So that's a part of the process of letting go
Exactly.
the old and creating the new.
I'm so glad you said this.
But you know, guys, what we are trying to do, what we realize that our purpose here is to do, is not entirely to destroy everything. We are obviously not going to take down the entire house, right, and to build a new
The house
one.
that you see here.
The purpose is to use the base, the good parts,
The good part, yes,
of it.
perfect.
The stable parts. Let go of everything not needed and add on new features so that it becomes our own thing.
Just like with Petya, I don't want a different person other than her. I want to take out what doesn't serve her, throw it in the garbage, and something new is gonna come automatically. I don't have to do anything, and it's gonna be brand new. That's it. Yeah.
They say something within the connection is gone.
Again,
Aha.
And it is
There
about,
was a drop as well there.
yeah. We're trying to do the best for the connection. I'm trying to see.
This amplifies the
Yeah.
connection there. Okay.
Okay. So the connection is back. Mercury retrograde, guys. Come on.
I guess it is.
Oh,
be
yeah.
there
You're
with us.
filming as well, right?
Yes.
And,
Well, it's a normal video.
Okay.
Yes.
Like this, it gets.
So
We'll try to put on our channel
yes.
maybe the whole thing. From
we'll
what
see
we are-
because it will
we don't
overheat.
promise. It's Mercury retrograde. so-
Mercury retrograde is like this.
Yeah. So, CC, did you notice the big difference inside yourself in your soul after meeting? Is there is a you before and after meeting the other? What is the most different?
Is there a you before and after meeting
Mm-hmm.
the other?
There's a big difference.
Yeah, but it keeps on existing, the before and after.
Mm-hmm.
The before, for example, I am André, she's Petya. The before André is still with us, is still here, and it pops up every time, and I have to embrace. There's no total deletion. I cannot delete this old André. It will always exist within me, and the same for her, and we just have to coexist with it. I think.
We more like add-on features. Let's say.
Yes, almost like
Let's say we are two devices, and when we get connected together, if the one has certain options and the other doesn't, when we get united, we already automatically both have these options, just because we work in a team. But this is the secret. You have to figure out how to work in a team with your twin flame. And once you do that, you can use the features of your twin as your own features, plus your own features. And then it becomes amazing. It multiplies. And it doesn't become 1 + 1 = 2. It becomes multiplies even more because you have achieved. This is an amazing achievement, in my opinion. We are not like this 24/7, obviously. We are humans.
it's impossible.
It happens just from time to time. But when we are in such a state, the energy multiplies times, not just 1 + 1 = 2.
I think we are out of light already, so maybe we are.
It's okay. It's still got some,
Yeah?
just a little bit more. Yeah. The video quality is good. So,
Okay.
We have the sunset in front
we've been
of
already
us.
28 minutes.
Mhm.
I know it's buffering if the situation gets gone. Bamboo, we already talked about how long they've been in a separation. You can refer to the earliest in the video. Inner goddess, I also noticed that when I try to walk away, I get pulled back, the divine masculine. Do you also experiencing this as well when you guys pulled apart? But you had him back up.
Yes, just like magnets.
Yep, it's the same.
Can you separate magnets? I mean, you can if you put them far enough, let's say. But if the distance is still like not
The
too
only
far,
way
like
you pull magnets, it's when their gravitation. It's, for example, you try to put north with north, it's not going to happen.
Yes,
They're not
exactly.
going to be. But when it's a north with south, they're coming together.
Yes.
But if the twin flames get a lot of issues, they just kind of like turn around, and all of a sudden what they do is in the separations, they turn around and they back up. The one of them, it's turning, and then the south and north begins to attracting again.
The thing is that these magnets, they get stronger with time, so they become bigger, and
Yes,
it's
that's
incredible.
true.
We become,
That's an amazing
we start,
download.
we start as a small magnet. She has a small magnet, I have a small magnet, and then it grows with the years. I become a big one, she also, and then even if I go to China and she goes to the US, if we turn to each other, we just collapse even stronger than before, and it even hurts because
I guess our magnets were strong enough from the beginning because
Our?
we were magnets. Because we were in Corsica and Cyprus at the time, and we still managed
Yeah.
to get together.
Okay, Ray is asking you questions. Did you guys were spiritual before you met?
Yes.
yeah, we were. We actually did we start together?
Pretty
mean-
much deeper, let's say, but we were already from before.
From before. Yeah.
Yes, with some.
I mean, we were not born like this. When we were searching for information online,
I
there
would
was.
say we were born more like, because I have like.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's just that we afterwards got locked up by the Matrix.
We were born spiritual, super sensitive, but the brainwashing from everyone around us
Yes.
put us like in a state that we are just like anyone else, but we
Yeah.
are not. So yeah.
You know, guys, it's actually the Lord Astral knows from the very beginning you are born that your twin flame is already here or is about to come. So even before connecting, you are already being worked on somehow.
Yeah. There's already a plan behind the
I
plan.
had prophetic dreams, for example, since 3 years old. But at some point in my childhood, they just disappeared because I was already being worked on by the Matrix. Especially when I started school, I remember I started closing myself very much, and things changed.
Sam02. Hi, I have a challenge for both of you, man. Do the rock, paper, scissors, and a winner will make a loser to do whatever he feels like on live chat. Could suggest a task. Please do, guys. That is funny, the games on it. Thank you. I appreciate for the suggestions. Maybe we'll do that. Crystal, it is all your energy together. Haha. My twin and I have done with trying to do the video chat if he was watching his lives. Bamboo Tycoon. Did you know prior to awakening to your twin flame that someone with your exact blueprint was waiting for you? Did you guys know about it?
Since childhood, I even knew how he looks like. He also knew how I look
It's
like.
it was as soon as I was born. That's it.
Me too.
I just had
knew.
it printed in my face.
Me too. I had a visual, like almost like I knew it would be someone tall with blue eyes, nice, big lips, big hands.
You said blue eyes.
No, brown.
brown
But I
eyes.
said blue indeed.
You said blue,
Yes.
but that's because I was imagining
Really?
like this. I think so.
Okay.
Sometimes I have a thought and she grabs it. So
Yes.
it's like this
Exactly. It's not sometimes, most of the
most
time.
of the times. And I was also
And they're
thinking
like,
the same
I have a
thing.
download. You're like, I already thought about that. Okay.
We are trying to impress each other. We cannot because
Doesn't work.
telepathy is like this.
Bambo also says, oh God, feeling that there was something bigger than just a physical relationship. What is the bigger than the physical relationship?
We knew the whole
The fact that we know each other from
personality.
before
Yes.
this lifetime. This is not the first lifetime.
No.
And twin flames don't have to be just this lifetime. It can be any and multiple and so on. They're not seeing us anymore. We look like charcoal. Look at
No,
this.
that's okay. That's a little bit more, and we're gonna answer a few more questions.
Until you guys just see darkness, we're not gonna leave
Yes.
you alone.
Yeah. All right, Meltem asks, might TF come back but still ignoring what has happened? How do you explain this situation? Meltem, sometime what happens, during this cases, they come back because they feel the sadness within the soul and they still have to process this. But they come back first to heal wherever it needs to be healed from within.
I have a question for them. What do they think Twin Flames are coming here for? Is it just once and that's it? Do we have to do the whole thing? Because I don't see it this way. We're here since the beginning of humanity, the two of us, and we've had many lifetimes together. But the Twin Flame journey, I feel, is in our perception, what we remember from previous lifetime. It's not just about do the thing between the two of you and that's it. You're free to go to other dimensions. It's a choice, guys. It's a choice.
It's a working choice, almost like this, because you have a lot to do. There's many steps. It's not all in this lifetime, you know.
And you, all of you, are in this choice, and you have a very higher purpose. Believe me. It may look very personal, very much about just you, about your own journey, but it's not. We all are connected in a brilliant network, and that's how I like to explain it, what I envision. We are like small diamonds in this network, and each one of these diamonds is exactly where they have to be, and we are all connected, just like we and Dio found each other, and Nuri and other twin flames, and it's such an amazing journey as an addition to our personal journey. That's how we all are connected in this way. We might not be physically together because it's impossible to bring all of us together in one spot, right? But we are connected through a very fine, very beautiful network. It's a spiritual connection from the universe.
Juliana's asking, the last time I met my twin flame, my mind had a lot of resistance and apathy towards her, and I didn't feel that twin flame energy. But when we finally met and I hugged her, I felt that familiarity. But when I moved away again, I just don't care to see her again. What is this happening?
It depends, you know. If you didn't feel that familiarity, then something changed, and it was definitely not. It can be with the person, but it can be also mostly within you, because we are constantly evolving. When I meet the people that I met just a year, like 1 year ago, for example, they totally changed, but they didn't change. I changed, and the same with even these two next to me. You know, if we are speaking now, they are like this, but tomorrow they are different. But it's not them, it's me. I am growing, I am evolving, so I will see things in a different way, and which means this is serving me right now. For example, this was serving you before, this experience or this person or that feeling, whatever it is. And the next time that you meet the person or the event or the mission or whatever, it's going to be different. And if you don't feel good, that it means it's not for you anymore. You have to move on.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, it's getting dark.
It's getting dark already, guys.
Namaste, guys.
And
Namaste.
Namaste. Give you a peace and love.
Thank you so much for this moment.
We are going to be
it's very
talking
dark
about,
now.
I'm going to come in tomorrow at the live sessions for it. Sorry that took just a little bit from the time for it that we had, but I'm so want to say thank you for
Thank you.
Petya and
Thank you.
André
And thank you to
for
all
the
of you.
great experience. Yeah, and I wish them love, inner peace, blessings.
And let's stick together all.
Yes.
It's very important.
I mean, the lower astral is going to pretend that we are all one, but we are not until we fix ourselves and we just calm down and we choose the middle path. Like middle path is the best. That's all we can say. This is the best. So let's stick together through middle path, and that's it. Okay.
All right, guys.
Thank you
Much
so
love
much.
from you guys, and bye bye. And
Bye
I'll see you.
bye.
Bye bye.